Walker County, if I'm not mistaken. Jason, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
All right, I'm going to make the leap. Ancient and mystical. Well, politics are also ancient and mystical. I'm sure as soon as there were enough people in the Garden of Eden to actually break into small camps and start arguing about what to do with the various fruits and the goodies around them, they probably, started having some political problems. But you have actually become involved in some, I guess, a dust-up of sorts. Tomorrow's Election Day, and we mentioned we don't have any real big items here in the city of Chattanooga, but there are some interesting votes going on. But tell me a little bit about this whole SPLOST thing happening down your way.
Well, thanks for having me on. Tomorrow, I would encourage voters to come out and vote for SPLOST either way. I am with the Vote No SPLOST campaign for the first time, Jeff. I've seen in our county a lack of leadership, lack of accountability. What we're specifically voting on tomorrow is SPLOST, which is 1%. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of people do know. It's 1% tax added to sales in the county that would purchase capital expenditures and that sort of thing. But as I said, for the first time in my Walker County residence, I am voting against SPLOST, and that is because of, as I said, the lack of guarantees to what that money is going to. We've seen money being spent on just all kinds of special interests, and we can go on and on about that. But what I wanted to tell you, the North Georgia voter, specifically Walker County, I would like you to know that...
Well, let me stop you for just 1 second, just simply because I just want to make sure. Sure. I kind of get ahead of myself, and I heard JR talking about sports euphemisms, and he said you can't give it enough. The score, the time, whatever, you have to hit reset. And I need to do that more often in radio, and sometimes I jump in there, and whenever I have people in here who are very deep into a topic, they'll start using phrases and acronyms, and they just assume everybody understands. First, what does SPLOST stand for? That's an ugly word. It's a terrible acronym. What does it actually stand for?
It's a special purpose option sales tax.
Yes, local option sales tax.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it was instituted, I believe, back in 1986. Became part of a package. Every 5 years there's a cycle where we vote it up or down, and it's, to my knowledge, has never been voted down. As I said, I've never voted against it.
All right, now that gets us back to 1% sales tax in the county. It stays in the county. It's earmarked for the county. And the most, it's to see people vote a tax increase upon themselves. I can count it on one hand that I've seen it happen, and I've been doing talk radio for over 20 years. That means that you've done a good job convincing them that this project or projects is very worthwhile. Now, you're voting against it this time. Let's get back to where I stopped you there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, as I said, we've seen projects in the county that where SPLOST money was used. The special interests that have donated to B.B. Haskell's campaign. I don't want to get too deep into naming people, but we've seen a multitude of projects in the county where money was misspent. And when you bring it up at a county meeting, she'll give an answer. She, being B.B. Haskell, will give an answer for it that is less than satisfactory. And I've been involved. When I've seen one of those projects right down the corner up here on Lookout Mountain, I'm a Lookout Mountain resident, Jeff, and right down the street for where I'm building a home, there is one of those exact projects going on where we see an extreme waste of county taxpayer funds. And me being a county taxpayer, that's what initially got me interested in it.
Now, this is the difficult part, because what you see, of course, as wasteful, I might see as being vital, vice versa. When you're talking about here in Chattanooga, public art, some people say, no, hell no, we're not going to spend a penny on it. Others say we don't spend enough. You've got Volkswagen that comes in and says, this green, city initiative that you guys began long ago, that's one of the things that attracted us to this place. Other people say, oh, it's an economic killer to be an environmental city. So there is always some subjectivity going on in the way any tax dollars are spent. And I appreciate you wanting to avoid names because, I mean, I don't ever want to just get into name calling unless there's just a real darn good reason. And there's one person in particular that needs to be praised or, embarrassed and humiliated on the air. But now it's almost impossible if you're talking about county government, though, Walker County, because Bibby Hoskell is a sole county commissioner. There's only one county commissioner, and there's only a handful of those left in the country, and the most of them are in Georgia. Walker County is one of them. And
the only state left in the union. We're kind of a dying breed as far as the state. There's 8 or 9 counties only in Georgia. Oh,
well, then that's even changed since the last time I think we had Miss High School in here. Then 8 counties in Georgia, and Georgia's the only state where you have a sole commissioner. Carroll County, where I graduated high school and college down at West Georgia, and that area down there around Carrollton, Carroll County was a sole commissioner. Horry B. Duncan was his name, and you either liked him or you didn't, and they finally, did away with it. So it is a tremendous amount of power. There's no doubt about it.
It is. Some of the projects to name that would be you would see on if you're involved in any kind of social media around Walker County, Facebook, and that sort of thing. Mountain Cove Farms is a huge eyesore. That's probably not the right word for it, but is a sense of contention amongst the residents. Here we have numbers ranging from $2.5 million, $3.5 million. I've heard people say $5 million invested out of this SPLOST, and it has yet to show a profit, to my knowledge.
Well, and obviously, if it's one or two, if it becomes a private venture, if it's almost like it could be public-private, another catchphrase around here that got people fired up for a long time. But if public money is going into something that's going to raise money, profit for only a small group, then there's clearly going to be some questions asked by those who are not in that group. Sure. Then the other argument comes back, well, a rising tide lifts all boats. If this works, then it'll help everybody. I've heard it all at this point.
We've owned it since 2008, Jeff, and to my knowledge, as I said, we're still pumping money into it. The EPD just fined us on that project $10,000 because they didn't buy or set up the appropriate permits. I'm not sure if that was in the local news in Chattanooga area, but we were even fined on the project. It's coming out of the general fund.
That's a separate fine than the one that was up on top of the mountain that had to do with... Oh, wow. Okay. No, I don't think I saw anything about that.
Yeah, that was in the paper. I believe it was in the Times Free Press. So the voters need to come out. They need to know about this, that we were fined $10,000. It's coming out of the general fund because they originally said that they were going to make it a peach orchard, and then weeks later decided they're going to turn part of Mountain Cove Farms into a RV park. That's a heck of a transition.
Well, thank God somebody taught them how to be in peach farmers. That's the most miserable group of people I've ever seen in my life. It's always too hot, too cold, too rainy, too dry. But now, can you hang on with me just for a second, Jason? The biggest part of this is actually the vote is tomorrow, and I want to ask you about the wording of the referendum, but also the only real reason that my ears perked up on this was a flyer that went out in a particular way that I think, even if it is not violating the letter of the law, it's probably violating the spirit of the law, and we had that sort of story up here as well. So hang tight. Jason Bednar, Walker County resident, and all you folks going to go out and vote tomorrow. I hope you do. Please do. As he said, either for or again, get out and vote, for goodness sakes. Be part of the deal. All right, man. I want you to call when we get through talking to Jason in this particular issue, 800-569-4280, and say we want a Google. We want several tens of thousands of Caplet's chewable stress block.
Stress block?
Yeah. Makes your stress melt away and feelings of happiness and calmness, and anxiety says bye. And bliss says hi.
You think that's going to work?
We're going to put it in the water supply here. This is, and it's the special deal. Only for listeners of this radio station. There's a reason for that. And the employees probably are the first. That's your prime. We'll be the guinea pigs. And then we'll start passing out to you guys as well. Jason Bednar on the line with us. Jason, yeah, see, even just talking about stuff like this, county is away sometimes going to stress you out. But now, Walker County, vote tomorrow. Is there anything else? Jason is calling in. He is saying vote no on the SPLOST tax this year. He has always voted for it, but he said there's been some skullduggery afoot. Is there anything else on the ballot down there that would be bringing people to their local voting polling places?
No, if you don't live in one of the contested races areas, such as Lafayette or I believe Rossville, I'm not for certain about that, where you have several people on the ballot, then where I live on Lookout, there's only SPLOST on the ballot tomorrow. So
it's going to be low turnout.
Absolutely. So we're encouraging everybody to come out, whether you're once again for or against it. Just be knowledgeable. Look up what I'm telling you. You'll find out that it's true.
And that special purpose local option sales tax, SPLOST. And the thing is, and this is why Jason's on the air with me right now, is because of what I heard late last week, and again during the break, I got a call from somebody that says, "Are you guys not going to do something about this with this?" And Kevin was mentioning the vote, but I don't know that he mentioned this. Apparently, there were some folks actually currently in office who were, I guess, using their, what in Congress to be called franking privileges. They were going out with official stamps and letterhead stuff saying vote yes on the SPLOST. Now that would be okay with their government. They want more money. I got that. They got projects. They want to finish them. I got that. But I don't think that's supposed to work that way. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to work that way. Now, you said you've been voting for it. Am I correct in assuming that there might be some violation there?
Jeff, if you're asking me, yeah, that's correct. What I found out was specifically on Friday, I called the Walker County Water Department, and in their bills, their monthly bills, we were seeing, it didn't say vote for SPLOST, but it said it'll make your, believe it's the wording was it would make your life better or has made your life better. It was a pro-SPLOST ad in the water bill, and it is illegal if they do it on company time. Additionally, Walker County residents, whether you're for or against it, if you're against it like I am, have supported with this SPLOST money. $2 million have gone from SPLOST. So you're paying taxes, $2 million has gone to the water company. And I found out on Friday they would refuse to put the other opposing opinion, which I think is illegal as well. So I with that information, I called up the head of elections in Walker County, and she's actually filing with the Secretary of State because that is illegal.
Okay, all right, let me make sure that I'm going to repeat this back to you, make sure I hear this right. It wasn't coming like, so we've had that where there have been local state representatives or city council people that have lobbied or just plain, tried to support something going on locally, but they've used their official, letterhead and stationery, and it's gone through the official stamping machine inside their office and all that stuff, and you're really, really not supposed to be doing that. But if it actually is, you're saying, you're lobbying, you're saying vote one way or the other, and maybe the wording is such where it's not really saying that. Maybe it passed a legal muster. But it went out in the water bill. It went out actually contained in the water bill, and the water company, the law may they waive, everybody wants good clean water. They were the recipients of some of this money. So they're arguing for the continuation. You have to draw the line there, the continuation of that money, or maybe even an increase.
Yes, they and on the board of the water company, ironically, is B.B. Haskell. B.B. Haskell's one of five. Her and David Ashburn. I'll stop there and name the other three, but B.B. Haskell actually is on the board. So I didn't find it surprising when we tried to get the other opinion, the vote no to SPLOST. They would not have it. So
I don't. Now you're saying you have definitely determined, you through your own phone calls and whatever, that is illegal, because I could not say for sure. I would think that it would be, but who did you talk to? Who did you complain?
Barbara Berry, who is head of elections in Walker County, and she told me that she was going to file my complaint with the state. She also told me it was illegal if they did it on company time for them to be working on a pro-SPLOST flyer, and it doesn't say vote no to SPLOST. It's a pro-SPLOST flyer, whether you mix the words or not. It's pro-SPLOST, and it was in the water bill, and our sole commissioner is on the board. So
all right.
it correlates with what you're saying.
Yeah. Now, so Barbara Berry, and again, she's with the who is she again? I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm making notes as we fly here.
That's okay. It's she's the head of the elections, Barbara Berry.
Elections Commission. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so she has said to you that she will file a complaint with the state. Now, that's going to happen awfully fast, given that tomorrow is election day, and to vote no on something that happened 2 weeks ago would be kind of feckless, I would imagine. But we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so so you asked for equal, not time necessarily, but space distribution, and you were told no. And again, it's my business. I'm not going to give my competitor time, but this isn't business. This is utility. This is government. This is tax money.
Right. They receive taxpayer dollars. So everybody like myself that's against SPLOST has to basically read a pro-SPLOST flyer without having the opposite opinion put out. So right there, I mean, that's just common sense would say that that's not right. They should not. If they want to be pro-SPLOST all the way through, that's fine, but they shouldn't take taxpayer dollars. Now,
I'm going to go ahead and just play devil's advocate here, and just say, okay, now, but the thing is, though, is the SPLOST money, like you said, you'd voted for it, and it's been successfully argued that it has helped the county. So here it comes again. Probably the assumption is that momentum will carry the day, and most people say, that SPLOST, that's really done some good stuff. And jumping in front of that train is going to be kind of difficult. And if they trot out, this project, that project, this whatever it might be, recreational area, this ball field improvement, that's a lot of stuff that touches people's lives.
It sure does.
And I don't, other than saying, it's a tax. You guys are voting for another tax, and it's being misused. That's a slightly more difficult argument to get out.
Well, most people like myself will vote for it as soon as BB's elected out of office. It's like let's just take the Lafayette Library, for instance. It was, the project was shut down because of lack of funding from SPLOST that she promised the library. And here during just before Election Day, she gets all of her equipment back on the project, starting it back up, because she wants it to look good for the turnout, the voter. But you are correct. There has been a lot of good stuff done with the SPLOST. It is not the SPLOST itself that I'm against. It's the spender, the lack of accountability. B.B. Haskell, I think, has to go before people will start voting for this. If you look around the county, Jeff, there's all kinds of signs out. People are tired of lack of leadership. We're in a county of one commissioner, 8 in the state of Georgia, and this is the only state in the United States that has this kind of leadership. It's got to change.
I know when Miss High School came up, it was during the last election cycle, and she came in and we talked about this, and she said that here's the argument that I would make. If you have a problem with the way I'm doing things, you can come to me. There's no filter. I'm it, and I'm there. The door's open. The phone's on. And that's the good thing about having a situation like this is I can make a change without having to do the dance, And I was hearing that. I could see how that might. Same sort of thing when we talked about increasing the number of council people here. If we went to Metro and we look at Nashville and they got like 30 some odd city council people, how in the world do you get anything done with a committee that size? I can see where that would come in. And I guess if you just took a poll of the folks in Walker County, do they feel like it's heading in the right direction? That's what it boils down to. It's kind of a referendum.
Sure, absolutely, and that's where I'm encouraging everybody to come out and vote. If you're not voting, then you don't have a say. You got to get out and vote. So be it. If they keep voting for SPLOST, they're going to keep getting what they're getting. So. Like I said, there's a lot of people that have told me personally that they're voting against SPLOST for the first time. So the state of Georgia, the last thing I'd like to say is the state of Georgia is the last in the union in corruption. We rank 50th. Why is that? Lack of oversight.
Well, and I'm assuming then that if Miss Berry, really got on her horse and rode, and got to the state, what would the state be able to do before tomorrow? The ballots have been printed. Everybody, the volunteers are ready.
Right.
I don't think any of these, they're not going to stop the election, are they? Or are they?
She didn't tell me either way. She said basically that she put my complaint in, and you know.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
You got that right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that sounded very negative. I'm just saying that it would be a way. It would be action after the fact, I guess. Well, I tell you what, Jason Bednar, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day and giving me the heads up. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me, and go out and vote no SPLOST tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, there you go. And anybody on the other side of this issue, if you feel like you need some equal time, I will, unlike the water company with the insert, I will let you insert your opinion otherwise. I don't know how many people are affected. And again, this is one of those things that we can do at this radio station, having local hosts and local callers. But the thing is, well, that only affects a handful of people. I'm not one of them. But it's a generic issue that has happened here before. It probably will happen here again. People in power tend to like to keep power if they have the power of the office behind them. There are rules and regulations to keep them from being able to misuse it and to make it, just a boom, trump card every time the election season comes around. You can't beat them because they own the sign printing companies and the billboard companies and the TV and the radio stations and all the rest of the stuff is not supposed to work like that. So we seem like we're being a little too narrow casting instead of broadcasting. Just broaden it out a little bit. Think about